Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, MMPR Comic episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's morphing beyond the grid with me tonight? Rich?
Promethea Technician, King Kuma.
I am Joe Butler, and somehow I'm the White Ranger today.
Only in an annual.
Only in the annual.
So first, for this, we are going to be starting the Beyond. Oh, how I'm starting, it's all wrong. So we are going to be talking about Beyond the Grid, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Beyond the Grid, which is the next story arc after Shatter Grid. We're going to talk about both parts of it in this episode. There will be a break in between because we only read so many issues at a time, so we will be taking a short break, and then you'll hear the rest of the episode. Same day, of course, same episode. But so for the start off, we're going to talk about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 25th Anniversary Special comic. And Shatter Grid was running, so that's why we didn't talk about it yet. But it's essentially it's an annual. It's really the easiest way to put it. It's 5 separate stories that really have nothing to do with what we're reading, or the regular arc, right, Rich?
As far as I know, all I read in it, so all I read was the final story, just the Astronema, just because it was more relevant to what we were doing.
Oh, the other ones are not relevant.
Yeah, I feel like we can always touch on some of those, like as we read Go-Go and stuff. I think they might mesh well more with that, but yeah, I don't think they have any relevance to what we're doing now.
Okay, the first one is called Pet Project, and it's essentially, you can see if you guys want to comment after, but I'll do my short what this is. Scorpina ends up having a pet silkworm that Rita turns into a dog with the power to drain the Green Ranger power from Tommy, so she turns him into a dog, and because Tommy will be attracted to a dog.
Ah, yes, the most perfect green animal, the pug.
It is the dumbest comic ever, and it takes place in the TV show world, you can tell. Like, it just has that, like, oh, we saved the day, and Rita's an idiot, and it is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, was not interested in reading that at all.
You didn't need to. It was dumb. I read it this morning. The second one is called Sealed. What is this dumb one? This is also the show. This is
Mystic Quest right here.
Where you have Mystic Quest?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I looked at the title wrong, but it has that stupid bug in it. The flying bug, for some reason.
It's the flying bug. You know, the thing that runs on hopes and dreams and...
What
the fuck?
Did I skip ahead too far? Hold on.
No, the second, it's really dumb.
It's like right after they're like in the class, like mixing chemicals. They're like flying in the bug and they get attacked by Goldar.
It's real short.
Yeah.
It's completely unimportant. Then maybe this one is Sealed. This one I think has more importance. Maybe you Rich and Joe know what this is. Like, there's some woman who sees her husband is chained up by a ranger, it looks like, but it's not a ranger.
That is the Purple Ranger from, like, I think a different Power Ranger series.
All right. So the second one was, the third one, I guess. Now I'm kind of in line with you guys here. This is Mystic Quest.
Okay.
I didn't realize that bug one wasn't part of the White Ranger one.
You would, yeah, because it's only like 2 pages. So if this is Mystic Quest, where's the guy in blue armor?
Which guy?
Where's the do with his, doing his hands up and down because he doesn't know what to do because the guy just flew off on a cloud.
Talking about Ninja?
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. It was.
Oh, okay.
Holy wow!
Didn't work. I'm sad.
Yeah. A game that I played when I was 12.
Good game. It's also on this podcast, by the way. I love that game.
Baby's first Final Fantasy is what that
it is, but it's still a good game. I really like that game. Okay. And is that Rita then in the spiritual looking lady in white?
The
actress is Rita.
So I don't
show.
Is that because I didn't read this, but just the image that I see, it's not really a spoiler, but it looks like I'll say this. I'll keep it a little vague. It looks like a family member of Rita's.
Okay. But it's something that will come back later, I'm assuming.
Yes, and this is another reason why I didn't think this was connected to what we're doing, because of that too.
Okay. It's just published, so I figure we should talk about it.
How many fucking... I always get confused in how many fucking goddamn off colors they go through for the Rangers, because, like, obviously there's, like, 5 main ones here that she sees, like, later on at the end. Because I've never seen fucking Mystic Quest. There's also an evil Purple Ranger, but she's also the White Ranger.
Yeah, they've touched a lot of colors. I mean, at this point, orange, silver, I mean, most colors they've kind of went through. They even got, like, different shades of blue now. Like, Dino Charge had, like, a cyan color.
Yeah, I know Dino. There's a joke in the Japanese version of Dino Charge where like you see like all the Rangers kind of like sitting down, like they're being like scolded, and it's like you guys have 3 purple Rangers. Well, I'm Cyan. It's like I don't care. Why do you guys have like 3 purple Rangers?
Oh, and it's Mystic Force, not Mystic Quest.
Or there you go, whatever. Mystic Quest. What the hell am I saying? Okay, yeah, whoops. Mystic Force.
That's fine. It doesn't. It came out in
It's-
2006.
Yeah, it's
It was
definitely one I
Disney.
skipped.
Well, considering it only ran 32 episodes, I think a lot of people did.
Yeah, it wasn't a highlight of Rangerdom at the time.
Okay, I was very confused by this because then you see. Okay, so the Rangers that she sees in her little like vision are the Mystic Force Rangers. Okay,
Yes, not the Mystic Quest, but the Mystic Force Rangers.
the next one is really really stupid. It's stupid and cool at the same time, which is
That's Power Rangers.
I don't know who these Rangers are that they're talking to because I don't recognize any of these people.
That's Ninja Steel.
Okay, the idea of like they enter this time portal and then it shows the original Rangers fighting this monster, which I'm assuming was an episode of the old show. Maybe that's what it feels like, but maybe not because this is too cool and not kiddish. And then the Rangers went into a time portal and they both see the same monster. He sees Jason, he saves Jason, and it was just strange.
They fight a big Cthulhu monster.
Yeah, still strange. It doesn't change that fact for me.
There's a scene where Alpha 5 is wearing a little mustache.
Like I said, dumb.
Yeah, annuals and anniversary editions, not my thing.
And then that brings us to the last story, the only one that matters in this little thing. So this was actually interesting.
It
This-
is. It has some
felt-
weight to it.
So this is Power Rangers in space, correct?
Yes.
Mix between space and Lost Galaxy.
Okay, because it's called the Trial Astronomia. I know I butchered that name. We know of her
Astronema.
a little bit because she's Andros' sister. I think we saw her in Shattered Grid, correct?
Yes.
Okay. No, she was that Red Ranger or Pink Ranger that they rescued at one point.
She was a pink Lost Galaxy Ranger, yes.
Okay. I'm not good with some of these Ranger stuff. I mean, this one's all right. Like, it shows the universe having a trial and how she worked for Dark Spectre, who I know is a big-time villain later on for the series, right?
Dark Spectre.
Yes, yes.
Also with the same costume that they used in that terrible movie, if I remember correctly, too.
Yeah, for Malagor in Power Rangers Turbo, yes.
Yes. They're like, hey, we still got that costume later on, don't we? Yeah, we do.
At least they never brought back the goddamn gerbil wizard.
We're never gonna let that down, are we?
No,
Never.
he's not.
Ever.
So the dog man that we see in this yelling at the trial, blaming her, is that the same dog man?
It
Yes.
sure as hell looks like Kruger, but they don't say it.
Okay.
So I don't know. He has his whole race, and he says, like, he mentions his race. So could it be Kruger? Absolutely could, I guess. But they never verify it or confirm it.
Okay. I was just curious. And you have people sitting here being like, oh, she's guilty and not guilty and she couldn't help herself. And
Hey, Mike, what did this all remind you of?
damn it. Chrono Trigger.
Goddamn right.
God damn, I need to play that one fucking day.
Oh, buddy, if you haven't, yes, please do.
No, that's not the right song. I know that theme is somewhere in my head. The trial theme music.
You'll dig it up sooner than later.
Oh, I'm digging it up at the moment as I go Google it.
So if you
'Cause-
look in the stands here, because they said there's representatives from 100 planets or something like that. At the very forefront, you see those weird brains sitting in front of you. Those are aliens from Aquitar, Aquarians. I don't know how the fuck you say it, but those are the race that are the alien rangers.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
I
As
wonder
far
if
as
she
who's
was
actually like holding the trial, I have no idea who the hell those things are.
Okay, I was curious about that too, but it's just an interesting, like, it's a really interesting issue, part of this issue. The only good thing, like, seeing all this, where I guess what she was split into she wasn't split into two different people, but like her dark side was brought out, so she was some evil empress killing everybody or something. I guess.
So it's a little messed up what the Rangers are kind of, I feel like, pulling off here. I mean, I haven't seen In Space and Lost Galaxy in a very long time. Like, Lost Galaxy was one of the ones I actually last watched, like, on TV live. Either way, she was raised by another alien called Darkonda, which was a pure asshole. So she was, like, born, like, bred to, like, for destruction and to serve Dark Spectre and things like that. I don't really remember if there's any mind control or anything like that. I don't personally think so. I'm sure other fans could probably tell me different, but yeah, like she tries to take accountability for it. And Andros is like, no, it's okay. Like, all this like deflection and just excuses, and she's trying to like, and they get away with it, which is not very Ranger-like to me.
No, because he makes a hologram of her dark side so they can kill it, so they're happy that they killed her in quotations so she can leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how she's not okay with that. She's like, fuck you, Andros, I'm gone.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Yeah, and actually, because I don't mind Andros in the series for the most part. Like, he's an okay character for me. That's kind of a standout Red Ranger now and then. This made me not like him as much.
Well, I don't like him anyway, but yeah.
This is not the last time we will also see, even in Beyond the Grid. After Beyond the Grid, we will see Corone again. She actually has her own like little spinoff too.
Okay. I am so ready to be done with Beyond the Grid, but we will talk about that shortly. So I have my own opinion on that. So after we cover that annual, essentially that's what it was, we're now going to talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 31, which is the first issue of Beyond the Grid.
Yeah.
This first cover is awesome. I will say that.
I have a question.
Please. I'm sure I can't answer it.
Yeah, it's for Rich. Where is the Black Horn Ranger from? Is he an extra Ranger?
That is Magna Defender. He first showed up in Lost Galaxy as their 6th Ranger.
Okay, that's what I thought.
See, this was my issue, is I know who one are on this cover. One.
That's Kim.
Yes, and I kind of know who Andros is, sort of, but like, that's what made this, like, I did not enjoy reading these 4 issues.
What are you talking about? That's Aisha, right?
Yes.
No, that's
it's the one
Tanya
after.
and Zeo.
Okay.
I've
Tanya
never
and Zeo,
watched
yeah.
Zeo and know nothing about Zeo.
What the hell? I thought you watched Zeo.
No, terrible movie that had the Zeo Rangers for a second, but yes.
Zeo was good.
That's what I've heard. Just, yeah, we'll see. So the way this issue starts off is during the Shattered Grid stuff, some of the Rangers were in the Prometheus station that we saw before Lord Drakon becomes Clark Kent in that little scene when he gets all the power. And when the whole grid gets cut off, they are outside the grid, so they end up like in a different space, disconnected from the Power Rangers grid. So
they end up in beyond, not only Beyond the Grid, but in a whole nother universe also.
Okay. Like, this whole first issue is just them trying to, like, they're using the green psycho dagger that Grace still has after all this time to power this ship. And there's only 5 Rangers that were on the station that weren't with the rest of the Rangers when all the shit went down. I think it's just 5, right?
I
Yes.
believe so. Look at the
5.
cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
That's 6.
Okay, it's whoever's on the cover. I didn't count. Very good, by the way. But I really didn't know these characters, so you have a lot of them just being on the ship, being depressed. Like, in this first issue, just shows like how many days have passed, and they're trying to deal with what's going on, and they haven't found any life yet. And their morphine powers they only have a little bit left, they realize, because they're not connected to the grid anymore.
You got to think of how scary the situation truly is. Like, you're lost in another universe, out in space, no resources at all, and resources are running out like a depleting battery. So what do? Like, you're going to start to get desperate. Like, this is life or death, and it's ticking away each second, and they don't have any clue of how to fix the issue. Kind of a very scary situation.
Yeah, no, that is. I think it's because it's characters that I didn't like or know about. I wasn't as interested.
Yeah. I mean, it is quite a deviation from what we're used to in the series up to this point, but it does hold some weight as far as how serious and dire their situation currently is. And we're going to, like, when we get into some of the other Rangers we run into in here, I have a bit of a interesting opinion on that too, but we'll see when we get there.
Okay. I don't know. There was just something about this first issue where I was like, okay, like, we read a lot of Power Rangers issues for this series, and normally, like, I blow through these books like nothing, and I can't put them down. I get to the point where I gotta stop because we're at what we're gonna talk about, and I'm like, oh. And this was like, I'm almost done, right? You only read issue 1, Mike. No. Like, that's not normal for me.
Well, like you said, I think that's a big point to where if you don't recognize a lot of the characters, it doesn't make you care as much.
Yeah, it's just something about this that was just so alienated to me. Like, it's characters I don't know in a world I don't understand, dealing with problems that I don't get, really. Oh, is that Andros' sister in this too? The other Pink Ranger?
Corona's on the ship, yes.
Oh, okay. So, okay. I thought she looked familiar.
So as far as the main characters in this, the starting 6 Rangers, I know about 4 out of the 6. So
I also know 4 out of the 6.
Yeah, like that helps, sure, but really, I like when I read this, because I wasn't the most interested in it either when I initially read it, but I try to look at it for the overall scope of the story and less about the characters for me in this.
You're doing it the right way, but you're also a bigger Power Rangers fan than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps.
From what I know, from the whole team because I'm looking at the big standard picture. Besides, obviously, I'm familiar with Pink Ranger that we have, which is the new current. Was evil, now good guy, mind control, blah blah blah. From the current run we read. Green Ranger is from Ninja Storm. His whole thing is he's their fourth Ranger.
I have no idea. He's from Ninja Steel though.
The Ninja Steel? I just
Yep.
know that I can't remember because there's so many. There's like 3 ninja fucking Power Rangers.
There
shows.
is, yes.
But I remember I think his dad's also a hamster, but
What?
he's an actual hamster though, not like a hamster wizard. And
okay, well, that helps a little bit, I guess.
yeah, and he's like, his whole thing is like, you're too weak to be a Power Ranger, and then he's secretly the Green Ranger for like 6 episodes. And then Heckle is which is the Blue Ranger with the fang mask. He's their atypical. I was a bad guy, and then I stole powers, and now I'm an evil Power Ranger. And then they're like the usual, why be evil when you could be good? And he's like, you're right. So he's their 6th,
Blue guy?
Yeah, he's their 6th.
Okay.
Evil turned good Ranger.
The one that, or something is his name, I think.
Yeah, his name's very specifically Heckle, yes.
Okay. I was wondering about that. Like, he wasn't in Shattered Grid, was he?
Tackle, he probably showed up. Yeah, he had to be in there somewhere. He wasn't.
Because I don't remember him.
Character.
I don't remember the Ranger with the black suit guy. I don't remember him at all in Shattered Grid, but
his name is also Mike.
You couldn't have picked a less common name.
Yeah, so original.
I make that joke when in my job. I'll talk to people like, "Oh, hey, I'm Mike." Like, "Hey, what do you know? What a great name!" And I make jokes about it every time. But
Heckle,
there's so few of us.
Is like I said. I think the reason why they're using him, because don't be surprised if he keeps popping up. He is in the main universe still. I believe he hangs out with Billy a lot.
So holy hell.
Yeah, him and Billy kind of hang out. If I remember correctly, he's like in like the final season that they have too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So eventually, a scout ship shows up. So they see the first sign of life in this universe after they've been I think it's been a month. You do get a little cool montage of them all morphing. I do like that.
Well, it's don't they run a scan and they find something that like abandoned ship, right?
Yeah, they find a distress beacon. Okay, no, well, the scout ship's the other ship. Yeah, they find an unidentified pod that they go to, and then they find nothing there at first, but then at the same time that they're there, a weird ranger teleports onto their ship and steals the power that what little power the ship has.
Yeah, but weird glitchy ranger.
Is she from anything besides this?
No, original comic creation.
Okay. And then they lose their powers. This issue ends where they're on the unidentified ship and there's aliens that want to eat them, it looks like.
I like that design though. I'll give this that too.
For the Solar Ranger?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a decent design, I guess. It's like a violet. I always see it as a violet ranger.
Oh, that's fair. I did not care for it, but that's fair.
I like the hood.
The hood's cool. It was just a little too glitchy for me. With the way the design.
Story reasons for that. I mean,
I know,
but eventually.
It bothered me for some weird reason. I didn't like it.
It reminds me of what they keep doing with Spider-Man, where they keep keep putting Miles Morales in a hoodie, and I'm like, yes, I need very specifically more of this.
Comics are strange. That's all I can say.
This is in this comic series. They love adding vests, capes, and hoodies.
I don't normally mind it. It just, I don't know. I was just off put. I think also I want more. I was hoping to have more context of what happened after Shattered Grid, and this is different than what I expected.
Well, you will get to that point. I
know.
This is just there's 2 paths that kind of happen here. What happened to that one team that saw the finality of the grid and it being shattered and dealing with Drakkon, and then these ones that kind of veered off the beaten path, and it's showing a separate branch.
Yeah, I'm just ready for what comes next, but that's more of a me issue than the book itself. And I like to identify me issues versus a book issue or a game issue or movie issue. The second issue, this does have a kind of a cool cover with the magenta ranger, or whatever the hell we're going to call her, in the center, and the rest of them being hurt by her powers or whatever.
You could say solar or violet ranger, I suppose.
Okay, well, let's say solar, because she essentially has the solar vortex.
That is the official name of that ranger, by the way.
Solar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll call her by her name. I did not know that. Did they say that? Oh, if we didn't say that.
If they haven't said it yet, they will eventually.
Okay, I don't know. I read this twice, and I didn't enjoy it either time. These 4 issues, so
good news.
Oh, yeah, spoiler alert. But let's start off with them in the ship, the with a bunch of weird aliens that want to kill them, and they have no powers, so they have to just fight as normal people. Except a couple of them aren't really normal people, I don't think. Because isn't Andros an alien?
Andros is from KO-35. He's an alien. Heckle, I believe, is also an alien.
He's some kind of evil. He's some kind of evil monster person, like the equivalent of like Scorpina or whatever.
And then we got what's his name? Mike. I think he's also an alien. Miranoi, maybe.
The green ninja is also a ninja, so that's a thing.
And Tanya just tames lions and shit.
What was up with that shit?
What's up with that shit? Well, all right. So Tanya came into the picture when the other Yellow Ranger, after, let's say, what was it, Zeo? She gets Zeo? I don't remember that part. But either way, Tanya is, let's say, from the African Sahara.
What?
Yeah, it's like she comes straight from Africa.
She come down from the rain, down from Africa, like that.
I think the transition actually happened during the Alien Rangers little spin-off series, to where the other Yellow Ranger was like a kid. She met Tanya as a kid in Africa, and then like switched spots with her. It was stupid then. It's stupid now.
What? How can you say Power Rangers was stupid then and stupid now? Come on. They only make good decisions. Yeah, it's pretty
that right.
Okay,
Saban and Hasbro and everybody else.
At least it makes a little bit more sense. I was wondering, why the fuck I keep calling her a lion tamer? Like, what the fuck?
That's why. She is literally straight from Africa.
I mean, it seems kind of racist to call someone a lion tamer from Africa, though. Unless they actually were a lion tamer. I mean, it's possible she could have been, but I don't know.
I guess so. I mean,
I'm going to hope so, but that's pretty fucking racist. That'd be like me called, like, you're a dog tamer. I'm like, I live with a dog, but I wouldn't say the dog's name. But I'm a dog tamer. Oh, okay. So they lose their powers. The Rangers bond. One of them makes a crazy decision to open an airlock and suck people out into space and commit murder.
He could have killed like everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
Was that actual Mike Magnet Defender?
I can't tell who these people are when they're not in their outfits. That's the other issue I had with this. They're not in their uniforms enough because I don't know who the fuck they are without their armor on.
Yeah, it was him.
Okay. Like, I'm like, only one I know is Kimberly. I'm like, the rest, put your suits on. I don't want to see your faces. I can't identify.
Heckle's not even wearing his damn color.
Yeah. No, hey, that's against the Power Rangers rules.
Yeah, it actually is.
You must always wear your colors. That's how people identify you.
He's got blue hair. That's how you figure it out.
Oh, damn it. Joe's right.
Yeah. He also, it's the stupid thing also, like, I believe his whole gimmick is also the same stupid thing as the Time Force, where like there's a Red Ranger, but there's an evil Red Ranger that becomes a Sixth Ranger. I think
he's like a shade darker. That's what happens here.
Yes, that's his deal. He's the other Blue Ranger, but he's a shade darker because he was evil.
Well,
Power Rangers, am I right? All right, so eventually they get their powers stolen by the Solar Ranger. She runs away, and then they follow her to an asteroid that she ran off to, where she ran off to her girlfriend, who makes a funny comment about, I have a lot of fox dens. There better not be any other foxes in those dens. I chuckled.
And this is where we first see her name, which is Alarian. Ari for short.
Okay.
In my head, as I read this the first time, I always thought it was fucking Ellie because it seems just more normal to say that if your name is Alarian or Alarian. But no, they go with Ari.
I didn't care for anything that was happening here. I do like when they morph and they all have to say their lines. So then I was able to kind of understand who they were. Like Samurai Storm, okay, Zeo Ranger, but then one guy's Unleash the Power. I'm like, that doesn't help me. Magna Power doesn't help me either. You're supposed to say where you're from, so I know.
Also, is that not Ninja still? That's fucking Samurai Rangers? I don't know. I never watched either one of those, so.
I watched Samurai Storm, the one that got the reruns from. Like I said, his dad's like a hamster for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Someone in the Discord is going to tell me I'm wrong, and I'm excited for someone to tell me I'm wrong. I just remember
it won't be anytime soon.
I just remember there's a series where his dad's a hamster, and I'm like 90% sure it's this one.
Oh.
Weird. Thought it was Ninja Steel this whole time. Looks like it's Power Ranger Samurai.
How can you get these wrong? Come on now. You act like there's like 20 different Rangers. I'm not wrong. Am I in that little joke?
No.
And then you get introduced to the Crimson Raiders because some aliens show up because they all morph, so they figure out the power, and then they all fight these aliens.
A little bit of a generic name, but we'll roll with it.
And they're a brand new character, right? All this stuff?
Yes, all of it.
Okay, then the Solar Ranger goes with the
new too.
Okay, with the other Rangers, and then in the last scene you see is some weird Palpatine-looking guy sitting on a throne on a ship somewhere.
The Praetor
Oh, that's his name?
So what they hint, yeah, the Praetor, but they show throughout this that Ari has a hard time trusting people. She's had a rough life, a tough life. You don't typically see that with a lot of the Rangers. So they gave her a little bit of some originality with that when it came to her character. And I'll just say it now, as far as like her, like they keep building on this like trust aspect with her, because not only is she a Ranger, they find out that their powers are practically the same. It's just hers is glitched out and whatnot. But the important thing that I start taking away from this is that not only has Ari had a rough life, but she's never had a team. Like Kim kind of says it as we go on. She's like, you've never had a mentor, you've never had a team to figure out your powers. This is all like a struggle for you because you're doing it all alone.
Yeah, that was a good line.
We've never seen Rangers in the series typically go through something like that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But that brings up a good point that, they always have each other. They have a mentor, I'm assuming usually, like I just know Mighty Morphin, but she has nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She's just alone in a planet that wants to murder her. I mean, you get her backstory. I think it's next issue. Yeah, next issue. But I really like Kimberly in this. I really like that character, Ranger Slayer. I hope Amy Jo Johnson comes back to a convention near me so I can get her to sign my Ranger Slayer.
Would be cool.
I'm going to 100% if I ever get a chance to meet her again.
Well, if you know it's coming, give me a heads up. I might pop up there and do it myself.
I will. I don't know who's... They've gotten a bunch of the actors here in general, different conventions. I forget the actor's name, the guy who played Zach, the Black Ranger in the first series. He's come up here a few times. I never met him.
Damn, I forget his name too. What the hell is it?
Yeah, Zach is as far as me, but yeah.
Also, I posted in the chat. I'm sorry, his dad's a guinea pig, not a hamster.
Okay,
isn't much better. By the way, okay, I won't say that it's not any better. The same stupidity. But a guinea pig is a little bit bigger than a hamster, I think.
Well, the joke I was getting at is how many times are they gonna fucking use hamsters in this goddamn show? Because it was hamsters in the movie, and then the dad's a hamster.
I mean, guinea pig. It's from the same family.
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why he's a guinea pig either. I tried looking it up and I couldn't find an actual reason. So
you could watch the show.
Fucking doing that.
You should get high and watch the show and see how much sense it doesn't make. It might be more interesting high, actually, depending on how many colors are going on. But you might be like, yeah, clean up the garbage. Yeah, that might not, hit you the same.
That's probably like like a main focus. So it's like, hey, here's the Power Ranger episodes, but these are only episodes that actually have something good that happens, like backstory and like stuff like that. So it's like, maybe I could just do that. There's
a YouTube thing that Rich pointed me 2 years ago. I never finished, that breaks down the whole series, each of them. So you just need to know what matters. Unfortunately, you won't learn about how not to be a bully and be good friends, but you will learn what actually is going on that matters in the Power Ranger world. But you won't learn to clean up garbage. Oh, 90
Captain
shows.
Planet for that.
Oh, 90 shows and 80 shows with your good messages in the show, like in G.I. Joe. Hey, we just killed everybody, but remember, guns aren't safe, boys. I did like that G.I. Joe cartoon that one time. So I still like G.I. Joe's, actually. I still think it's a cool franchise. But that's neither here nor there. All right, to bring to issue 33. This cover is stupid. I don't like the Rangers not in their armor. I really don't. And that's what this cover is.
Also, the art's a little different, so it's kind of hard to tell who's who sometimes.
Oh, I forgot to mention that, but this whole set is done by different writers and different artists. It's not Kyle Higgins like it was normally. It's Marguerite Bennett and Simone Demo and a few other people that were involved in the art too, but it's none of the same people, and that's why I think it's also so different, which I think made me not like it as much. It's good art. It's not a bad story. It's just, maybe the when we get to the later half of this Beyond the Grid, I'll be more into it.
All I can say, like, I'm not the biggest, like, gigantic fan of this either, but they are at least trying to incorporate other Rangers, which is the common complaint amongst some of the fans. Like, they want to see some variety. They don't want to see just the original 5 or 6 all the damn time. They want something different, and this gives us a little bit of that without the whole story being about that.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I was upset that I was upset at myself for not liking it. And then, let's see. So this issue starts off where they have some powers. They took the Solar Ranger with them. I think this is when she tells her backstory about how their universe is terrible and people are living in poverty and the world, the universes are just like planets are just disappearing, and that
Yeah, the
an
universe is practically dead already. They're just trying to scrounge and scavenge and live whatever they can in the meantime.
I don't understand how this universe exists. Like, I was kind of confused about that too. Like, if it's not part of the grid, wasn't the grid the entire universe? But I guess
No. I mean, there's different universes. Most of these Rangers, I think, are for the most part are from different universes.
oh, good point. Good point. Okay. No, that makes sense now. All right. Never mind me. But like her backstory where she was an otter man,
probably in the
died.
worst. What's that?
An otter man dies to give her powers.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is. Did you look at him in the helmet on the glitchy helmet?
It looks so
ridiculous.
stupid.
Interesting choice. They could have made
They could have done a lot of things. I feel
Cool,
like, but they went with Otter Man.
and he just like shoves the power at her, like, take the shit. I don't know.
He's like, I'm dead. Your job now. Have fun.
I assume that it's glitching because I don't think she meant to pull him because it kind of seems like he like just launched himself. Like whenever he tried to reach for her, it doesn't look like she tried to throw him like on accident. It actually looks like he like got launched forward. So I think that's also the other thing that happened too, is that thing is just glitching the fuck out.
Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't her fault. I mean, her actions caused it, but she didn't try to kill the guy for sure.
No, it was all an accident. And I mean, it's cool to see how she gets her powers, and she's like, my friends would have turned me in for a second for a piece of bread, and I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
Yeah, everybody's dying and starving, and like it's interesting. And like she has a part where she even talks about how she would try to help people out with her powers, and then it would just cause more ruin and pain for everybody involved. I thought it was pretty cool, and I do like this part where she talks about it glitches whenever I feel each ranger says something different: fear, guilt, doubt, or maybe they don't say it, but it shows all their faces as she's saying it. And I thought that was really cool to kind of show what they're all going through. Because I'm assuming that's what it is. Like it's talking about what these rangers have to deal with, and each of these people have all different problems. Like I know Kimberly's, and I kind of know about Heckle now, but I don't know anybody else really. I know Andros a little, but not much. I just know he's stupid.
Yeah, after that damn trial.
Yes, that's what I'm referring to. He's like, legal system. What legal system? Sounds familiar. But it was starting to get me in a little bit more. Like her backstory, I do think is cool, where she talks about like what she did and how she had used her powers and had to run, and she would rescue people here and there and try to do things. And there's some cool parts of it, and I think they realize that is part of the Morphin grid, right? Just her little medallion she's holding.
Mm-hmm. So anytime a ranger morphs, that like morpher that they have, whatever means they have, that connects them to the Morphin grid. Otherwise, they're not really connected for the most part. That funnels the Morphin grid energy to that object and into like on them to give them that Power Ranger armor and connect them to whatever powers and weapons and everything that they can get. So hers is the same thing. This is her morpher. Her Solarix is her morpher, but it also seems to have Morphin energy within it, the grid itself within it stored, which most morphers don't really have that ability.
Okay. You do make Power Rangers make more sense, Rich, by the way.
Well, I love the shit for a reason.
That's a feat in itself, by the way. Just to let you know. That is definitely a feat in itself. Make Power Rangers make more sense. And then because
that's why she's able to spread that power amongst the rest of them, because that is the grid to a limited extent.
Okay, that's what happens here, because the Praetor shows up with his giant army of ships, which is cool. I do like some of this stuff. I think it's interesting. I just don't understand it. And then the last part of this issue is they all put their hands together and use her powers, and then morph. It's Morphin time. It's always Morphin time. And then that brings us to, I think, the last issue of this arc, right? Yeah, 34. Right? This is the last issue of this arc that we're talking about? Yeah, 35 is the next half we'll talk about after the... Okay.
Look, it's that big mech we've seen before.
Grace's mech.
Yeah. Hey, it's in here. So it's in this issue. This issue wasn't bad. This got me a little more interested.
Well, it's starting to ramp up now. You're at the halfway point. They're gonna take the foot off the brakes. There's no more like origin building. You know who Ari is now. They're gonna go full force at this point.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna enjoy the second half of this arc more than I enjoyed these first 4 issues, because this one is, I mean, them talking as Rangers, the whole Praetor saying, I'm going to kill everyone if you don't give me the solar vortex thing. And hey, they actually get like neon Zords, I guess?
So it's like energized versions of their Zords, their own Zords.
Well, yeah, we skipped a little bit over it, but they're theorizing that her piece that she uses to transform is just a piece of the morphing grid. That's why there's nothing that goes in and out of it. Her suit also gets a lot better too. Like, there's more of a mask there and everything else, more of an outfit here too. But yeah, it looks like surprised that also wasn't released. Like, what is it, like see-through versions of their Zords?
Mm-hmm.
I'd pay money for that.
I mean, so I didn't realize that was actually their Zords because I don't know these characters. So I'm like, well, Kimberly's Zord looks like Kimberly's, but these rest of these I have no idea. Like one looks like a fucking bullhead, like with a foot or something. It's weird. I don't know. Because I have no familiarity with these characters. So like, how one Zord is a Apache helicopter?
Samurai.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That just match the colors up, bud.
No, but it's so bad.
So looking at the weird how they have it's the Red Ranger, it's space, so here they have spaceships. He is a bullman, so he has a bull mech, a big ass bull mech. The Zeo Zord, which I don't know what the hell were the Zeo Zord.
I'll comment on the Zeo Zord. So Tanya had her yellow Zeo Zord. At first, they had like mythic creatures. She had the Zeo Rangers had she had a griffin or something like that, or unicorn. It was a yellow griffin or unicorn. This is the second version of the Super Zeo Zord, where they were more humanoid form. If you look at a picture of it, I might look it up for you guys in a second. It always reminded me of the fucking pills from Dr. Mario on her chest. But it's a Super Zeo Zord is what that is.
All right, I'll take it. That's interesting though.
And then you have obviously the Pink Ranger Zord. I don't know why the Ninja Zord is a Apache helicopter. That's also one you're gonna have to look up yourself. And then Heckles is a weird. What is it? Because obviously the main character is a Tyrannosaurus Rex and he is evil, so he gets the Spinosaurus Zord. Because lately 90% of Power Rangers have all gone back to dinosaur, which is fine. Can't go wrong with the original.
It's so fucking strange though. It's just weird. I don't know. It was just weird to me seeing this, and like it was cool seeing them as. Even I couldn't really tell what was going on. Oh, it's a fucking bull. That's what that Black Ranger thing is. Not a dragon with a foot. Okay.
It's a bull. That's what I said. He got bull horns.
Yeah.
It's a bad image. Again, I have no reaction with these characters. But now it was...
dragon with a foot. That's great.
It doesn't look like me that one shot. I don't know. I don't have answers.
But you won't have to deal with most of these Rangers after this arc. I mean, you're going to get Kim. You're going to get Tanya. No, not Tanya. You're going to get Kim, Andros, Corone. But most of it.
Fine with all the people I'm fine with the people you mentioned. So, and I'm sure it'll make more sense. I wouldn't have minded characters with the other characters I know. I have no problem with new, but it was just a little too much for me in these 4 issues. But again, there's still 4 more issues to wrap up this arc to see if it gets better. And so they're fighting in their hologram Zords and things go bad. A couple of them get knocked out, and then eventually Grace gets into her giant Gundam. That's not a Zord, that's a Gundam. And ends up fighting off the Praetor's armies, and they run away, I guess. And she rescues the Rangers.
No, it's what are they called in Pacific Rim?
I knew you were going to say that.
That's what that is, though.
Yeah, you are right. Gundam just sounded cooler.
Yeah.
What the hell are they called? Jaegers?
I don't remember.
Oh, they are called
Jaegers.
Yeah, it's called Jaegers, yes. Thank you, Rich.
I've only seen that movie once. I never saw the second one.
The second one's okay, but the first one is like the best one ever.
Well, there are only 2.
There's just this anime.
Oh, never mind.
Anime was actually decent to me. I liked it.
I didn't follow. I saw the first movie. I'm like, this is fine. And I was just done. So, yeah, that's all I got. And then this issue ends with, let me get back there. They come back on the ship. They introduce the Solar Ranger to who used to be a killer, his sister.
Yep.
And then they make comment like, this will be the key for us getting home. And then you see Prometheus, like some image of the Praetor in a hologram trying to crush Prometheus, which I'm assuming is supposed to be a metaphor, not actually what's happening.
It's not actually happening.
Oh.
It'd be a short arc if he did.
And that's the end of the first 4 issues that we're going to talk about. Then there's 4 more issues for Beyond the Grid, but that will be after the break.
After the short break.
Yes, only a couple minutes, not 2 weeks. No, just a couple minutes. And we'll be back.
Wayne's World. We do it's all 3 of us do the do.
Jesus, holy hell! I haven't seen that in a long time.
I've not seen that in a long time either. That was a good movie.
That was great.
What I remember really liking them in high school. I thought they were just awesome in high school.
They're really good stoner movies. But we're back.
So we're here to finish up the rest of Beyond Grid, and we are starting with issue 35. which for some reason the version that I am reading is a hand scan of the comic and is awful.
Oh, you too? Okay.
It's every website for some reason. Whenever this got accumulated online, they didn't. Sites just went with this.
So
But I know it's a digital file.
probably the only cover I think that we all have where we're probably all like, I assume.
Well, I mean, comics are more disposable media than other stuff, so in a sense like that, especially with digital like this, where you're not collecting it, you read it once, you absorb it, and you move on, type of thing. Because you're not buying it. I mean, different when it's on your shelf. Like I was at a toy swap today, and I actually saw the hard copy of Necessary Evil Part 2. I thought about it for a second.
Should have.
Well, then I would have had to buy Necessary Evil Part 1, and then I would have had to keep buying more and more and more.
See, you say that, but down on my first floor, I have Invincible Omnibook 3 and 4, and I'm like, oh, I'm fine with that. But I also agree in the back of my mind, I'm like, how much can I find 1 and 2 on eBay for?
Yeah, I know me, so it wasn't happening. So I buy some comics. I have Batman Nightfall. I'm gonna buy the Swamp Thing set. I buy some, but I mostly for me it's digital.
Do you own physical comics, Rich?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you own any physical comic big compendiums?
No, none that I can remember.
I own it. I have a lot.
I mean, technically now, this whole Ranger run I do. Other than that, I don't think I do.
Well, digitally you own it.
Digitally, yes. Physical ones, no.
Too much things to move around.
I'd like to. Maybe certain ones be kind of cool, I think, to have, but I don't care enough. Yeah. I mean, not this one.
Shattered Grid, yes. I wouldn't mind owning the Shattered Grid thing. That was some grade A reading.
Some of that turtle stuff too. Yeah, would love to have
that.
Some
I regret
that.
not buying multiple times in my life. But so this is it. God, what the hell is that guy? Oh, Heckle. This is essentially just Heckle's backstory, which
yes,
I bear.
Did you get the reference, Mike? His name is Heckle, and he had an evil side called Snide. You know.
I don't get it, Joe. What does it mean?
Dr. Jekyll.
It's like, yes, it's Dr. Heckle, Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde. Yes, that's the joke.
I mean, this was a cool issue. Like, I was a little bit bummed on the first few issues of this book, and then reading this one, I'm like, this isn't bad. Like, this is better. It starts off better, like with the team kind of trying to become better friends, and they do a whole issue of just his backstory where it is anything of this from the shows?
Probably.
They probably are. I mean, this is, like you said, Heckle's backstory. None of us here have sat down and watched Dino Charge to even verify any of it.
Well, that's what he's from. Okay.
Yeah, he's from Dino Charge. And honestly, dude, like getting into this, I stumbled on this particular issue so much because I would start reading and I would just trail off. Like I couldn't give a shit less about Heckle's backstory. I couldn't even grasp it.
Because it doesn't continue the story that we were reading. It's just a random issue on this planet, and he was like a sage, and he killed his master and took his power so he could save the planet.
Oh yeah, his planet that's called Sentai 6, you know.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that for sure.
I don't know. It's something about the darkness, and I didn't really like.
So I looked up Heckle for a second, like on YouTube, and I wanted more on his character a little bit, but it's a little bit limited. But what I did run into was him being locked up by whoever their big baddie is. Like he was in confinement. And they were like, "Oh shit, let's let him loose and use him to our advantage and all this kind of stuff." And he came out of that confinement with like even the baddies were like in fear of him. That's how much of a evil kind of badass he was. And that's the most I got out of it. So I mean, he was a big deal in the evil world, and then somehow, some way, became a good guy. That's all I got on him. Even this comic didn't really help me out too much because again, it was really hard to stomach it.
Yeah, it just wasn't very good. It doesn't help that it's a bad scan too.
What I don't understand fully is that how they gave him so much focus, but they didn't really dig into too many others. I mean, yeah, you get Ranger Slayer Kim, Pointless World Kim or whatnot, but everybody else is kind of in the background. Like they'll mention it a little bit, but they're in the background.
So we're Golden Age Power Rangers fans. The Heckles from obviously the newer season. I think this was just they found the most popular characters, but obviously they found one of the most popular ones. And I think they're just like, oh, let's go ahead and just make it another backstory for him, because there's something that I'll reference later on, probably towards the end of this. But I think, which is weird. What year did this come out, by the way?
That's a good question. This particular issue was January 23rd, 2019.
Oh fuck, that's
So was Dino Charge the most recent season at that point?
I think so, and I think he's legitimately. I say he's legitimately a popular character because I sent y'all a video where he's even in the newer season. So
Dino Charge was 2015 to 2016.
Okay, so I imagine he's real popular because he's even in the newer seasons, and they wouldn't have him there if he wasn't popular. So I assume he was just popular back then, and they're like, well, let's go ahead and continue his backstory here.
And then there was Dino Supercharge for a year, and then Ninja Steel. Power Rangers is strange.
It is. This whole thing is, I'll get into it, but this whole Beyond the Grid, I think, is just a way to appease other fans to, which isn't a bad thing, because I think Rich mentioned it on the last part, but like obviously they wanted to expand on other characters just to see people would, and I don't know, it's not my cup of tea.
I have multiple issues with it, but yes.
It depends on, for me, like what characters are pulling. Like they would have had somebody from like Dino Thunder. I'm glad they had somebody from Zeo in space because those are seasons that I have watched, live or whatnot. But even like Dino Thunder, when I went back and caught up on that, would have been cool. It just really depends on the fan because I'm sure there's a few fans out there that are ecstatic that whatever the fuck that Black Ranger is from Lost Galaxy is called. I'm sure somebody's loving that.
Good, that representation of your other series. It just something about it doesn't work for me in here. It's just that this feels like such an offshoot, and this story unfortunately is following Shattered Grid, and it just doesn't work out in that shape or form. That's why
I get it. It causes a disconnect. For us, it's a glaring disconnect. But as we go along, I'll point out some things that I did like, and that things that maybe we can take away from this outside of that disconnect that can make some of it at least worth it. But we'll see as we go.
All right, because the next issue, 36, it does have a cool cover with the Solar Ranger morphing into the Solar Ranger. I forgot her name.
Valerian.
Yes. And I forget what they're even doing in this issue to start. Oh, they're trying to get people away, to protect them from the destruction, if I remember correctly what was going on here. Because the whole galaxy is falling apart, and they're trying to get people away.
The Solar, I guess her being a Solar Ranger, these Rangers that are piggybacking off the the Solarix are helping out this universe. They're just doing good deeds, trying to help people out, like doing what Rangers do in every other universe. This universe is finally getting that treatment.
So they're helping people with their homework and picking up trash?
Yeah, they're picking garbage out of the park and stuff like that. Going to peace conferences.
Space garbage out of the space park, walking space dogs. You know how it goes.
Yeah, the usual. So that's what they're doing. There's nothing crazy about it, but there's a little bit of hope there. And I mean, even the Rangers without their powers are helping out too. So
yeah, and you do get some cute moments in this issue of just them, of the Rangers just being human, because they're not really in the suits that often right now. And then you also, I didn't realize there were a lot more Rangers on this spaceship than I thought there was, because we were only introduced to a couple that could morph. And then you find out there's more on this ship than I thought there was.
Yeah, but the main ones that they kind of consistently touch on are TJ from Space, the Blue Ranger. I'm familiar with him at least. And then there's Corone, Pink Galaxy, or Lost Galaxy Ranger, Andros' sister. But those are the two main ones that can't really morph that are there.
I do like her, and I'm glad that we read that trial of her, because it makes a lot more sense now to who she is. And I think that helps me care more about her in this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I wouldn't give a shit.
That they're showing the bonding moments with Rangers more and more. I think, and I think this is another thing that subconsciously pokes at us, or at least for me, is that I parallel this entire arc with like post-apocalyptic stories. Like we off the air talked about Walking Dead. That's depressing. It's a depressing setting. It's a depressing landscape and everything that goes with it. This is similar to that. It just happens to be in space, a sci-fi space adventure instead. It's a very depressing atmosphere. We got characters that their flaws are focused on, and that's how they bond. And there's not a lot of good. There's not a lot of hope, and it's just, it kind of drains you.
Yeah, I have a hard time with depressing things. I say that as I'm currently watching Attack on Titan and Mobile Suit Gundam 79. So, hey.
God,
I wonder you can handle this.
I am so excited for that coin flip when you tell me whether you like the ending to that show or not, Mike.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll get there someday. So,
It's a hell of a show, man. Loved it all.
I'm on season 1. I watched season 1 once before on Netflix, like 2015 or 2014, and now that the whole show is finished, I'm trying to watch the whole thing on Crunchyroll. We shall see how far we get. So, but back to but I have a hard time with depressing stuff, so I think that's also didn't help this. Because who is the character in the blue shirt that's kissing the Zeal Ranger? His name is Mike.
Yeah, that's why can't I think of his goddamn name? The one from Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, he's the big Minotaur man, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? Oh, it's pissing me off. No, like his suit. Like he's got he's the 6th Ranger in that show. Like special Ranger, and he's got a name. I can't. Magnet Defender. That's it. God damn it.
God, they really do pull 6 Rangers out of their ass in some seasons, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Without even watching, I just know it's Power Rangers. That's what the show is known for.
Well, yeah, but you have some where like you have like our seasons, the Mighty Morphin, where they have the Green Ranger, and then like we've talked about before, the White Rangers only, like I think in Japan's only in like 2 specials, so they milk it for like a whole season. But like, what is it? Like one season they have Ninjor, who's not even like a ninja, or he's not even like a ranger, he's just like a ninja master. And then you also have the other, like, what is it? Like Sentinel-9, the cop bot.
Oh, the Blue Centaurian. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have him at
Phantom Ranger.
Yeah, Phantom Ranger, all this other goofy shit. And it's just like, okay,
these are how we take footage we own that we don't want to pay for and put it and plug it into our storylines.
I could say I haven't liked like back when I did watch the series live. Green Ranger, everybody loved it. I mean, Joe is a big example of that.
Yeah.
So, so beyond that, like the 6th Ranger was never like that great, other than maybe the Gold Ranger. I was pretty fucking hyped for the Gold Ranger, especially that it was Jason.
I'll argue with that on that. The Gold Ranger was great. I love the Red Ranger from Time Force, the evil Red Ranger who just became the 2nd Red Ranger.
That's cool. That's beyond my scope. But go for it.
And then the other one I can think of, like I said, because that's as far as I get, because I think Time Force was my last favorite season.
Okay.
The one I came back to, Dino Thunder having the White Ranger, and on that one where he's like a fucking pterodactyl, that was like also really good too.
Yes. All right. So with that said, now because that's the most recent one that I was going through in the last year, I do like that. That one wasn't bad. Actually, that whole season so far hasn't been bad. But beyond that, like what my last live one was Lost Galaxy. So like if I had to go with the 6 Rangers that I really enjoyed, was that Green Ranger, Gold Ranger, and then when they brought the Silver Ranger out in space, he just fit. He seemed to fit. He wasn't weird. His suit wasn't all like outrageous and different than everybody else's. And it was the first time we saw a Silver Ranger.
Which one was that one?
The Silver Ranger in space.
Okay.
Zane was his name.
Is it bad that when you said in space and the first thing that popped in my head was, I'm in space! Portal 2.
Oh, really, buddy?
Oh, no, the thing I think of whenever I hear in space is the In Space Power Rangers theme song, which is a fucking bop.
Never heard it.
Give me like 2 seconds.
I mean, I've heard it, but...
Oh, it's great. The In Space, like, intro theme is amazing.
The only other thing I guess to really say about this issue, besides them just kind of connecting, you have Mike and I don't remember her name, the Zeal Ranger.
Tanya.
When they kiss, and so they're kind of a couple, and him having nightmares, which I think is supposed to be the villain talking to him, if I remember correctly.
Is that the part we're at already?
No, but I think that's what's happening, because he's having a nightmare where he hears stuff about the Shattered Grid event, but I'm thinking those nightmares are actually not what we think they are. I'm thinking that it's actually the Praetor guy talking to him, just without saying anything yet. And then the end of this is where they go to the planet of Zeal crystals.
The Shattered Star.
Okay.
Joke implied. What are you talking about, Mike? He's just being talked to by the dark side of the Force. I hope you're not tired of that joke, Mike, because I will make that joke in the Kingdom Hearts episode coming up.
But in Kingdom Hearts, you also make the joke that he can smith the darkness. Poor Rich has no idea what we're talking about.
Not at all.
That's
okay. Don't worry about it.
Right. And that brings us to issue 37. This is another kind of dumb cover. I don't like this cover either. I really don't like Rangers not in their suits, I found out, by the way.
You can't recognize them.
That's probably a good reason.
I mean, that's part of it, but also, like, with these characters, I'm like, just wear the damn suits. I don't want to see your faces. I just want to see your armor. So this didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So they're on a planet of all Zeal crystals, and, like, they're traveling across the planet and, like, dealing with life forms that want to kill them. Zeal crystals mean nothing to me, because I've never watched Zeal.
That's a big problem because I'll tell you, like Zeo, you might want to pay attention to it, and this is what I meant about getting more out of this than just the depressing setting and Rangers you don't know, because there's things that are introduced in Beyond the Grid, and I think I even said this in the first half, that will be everlasting throughout the series or mean something throughout the series. Zeo crystals are big news. So they're some of the most powerful things in the Rangers universe. We're going to see more on that as we go along. Not necessarily this particular planet, which I wish, like, I'm going to be paying more attention as we go. I wish they would have retouched on it, and I don't think they do. But Zeo crystals in general, like when the Rangers became the Zeo Rangers back in the day on TV, they were supposed to be the most powerful they've ever been or could ever be.
Until they got cars.
And that's why a lot of fans are pissed, because there was never really any explanation to why it's like, oh, let's go drive some fucking cars instead of the most powerful powers in the universe, so that's why Tanya's like the expert on it in a way, because her powers are directly linked to it. And as far as I know, the only powers that are really directly linked to Zeo crystals. But I mean, even in the Power Rangers RPG, like a lot of the setting is that's why Zordon had a Zeo crystal. He hid it on Earth. Rita went to go find that, and I mean, it's big news.
I found a recap of Power Rangers Zeo about an hour long. I'll watch that, then it'll actually probably make sense to me.
It's worth it.
I should probably watch that too, because I know they're going to reference Zeo a lot eventually.
Okay.
Cooler fact, in the Japanese version, it's referenced as the O Rangers, and the Gold Ranger is the King Ranger.
Mm-hmm. This is true. And that's about the only thing I know from the Japanese version, is that he was the King Ranger, because it sounds cool.
It does sound cool. That's why I brought it up.
It does. So yeah, the Zeo crystals didn't mean a lot to me. I did like it that Tanya got parts to kind of stand out. She's like, I understand what these are. And this is when Mike gets talked to by the Praetor, and he's trying to convince him to steal the Solar X from them, and then he'll let them survive if he does it, because they're all going to die otherwise. He shows them fake images.
Yeah, like if you listen to Praetor, he tries to be a master manipulator. He's a big asshole, this guy.
Oh god, yes. Kind of reminded me of Palpatine from Star Wars.
Yes,
a little bit.
I was waiting for you to bring it up.
He knew it was coming. So he just kind of has that feel to him that's what he's up to.
Well, I'm sure when Joe said Dark Side of the Force, it immediately clicks into place.
Also, knock another one off the stereotypical superhero thing. I love the reference of like, you should do this evil thing for me, or all your friends will be dead, and then it shows a vision of everyone dead. I say that thinking of Avengers and like probably 3 other things.
Yeah, makes sense.
Since you mentioned Avengers, I have a comment that I was going to make earlier, but then I forgot. But you know how you reminded me. Like, I think another issue with this comic is that it had to follow up after Shattered Ridge. It's like with Avengers, Iron Man 3 had to follow Avengers, and it just doesn't always work well.
I will defend that movie with step.
I like that movie better now, but I mean, when I saw it in theaters, that's how I felt.
I love that movie in theaters.
So I appreciate it a lot more now than I did back then. But I think that's, for me, that's the way that I view it. At least I did back then. So that's kind of how I want to. It made me think like with this, where whenever you have something really big and really good before, and then you do something different, it can be hard to top it or even get near it. And I think that's kind of what this struggled a little bit with. That makes sense. I think anything. So so Mike is about to steal the Solar X. Fucking Mike. And then they start blaming each other, because, I mean, they're kind of almost all outcasts, the Rangers. Like, they all kind of done some shady shit, too, almost. Well, I don't know about all of them. Andros sure as did. He went, oh, hey, sister, just because you're my sister, we're not going to let you worry about being a victim. We're not going to have them execute you for all the murders you committed. No, come with us.
I think the only person that really doesn't have a sketchy past is like maybe Tanya.
Yeah, the rest are all sketchy.
Yeah, I don't know anything about like Cam, but they mentioned something about his family, losing his family or something. But if it's not his fault, then how the hell is that a dark? I have no idea.
But there's drama for each of them that you can see when you're reading this, that you can tell that they're all like suffering with guilt.
They're all fucked up. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like the whole theme of this story, is that you have people that are suffering guilt and have fucked up pasts that are involved in this.
I don't know. We should have took Zach then. Zach, when he like damn near went to the dark side and went with Rita like that, I think that would have been a cooler struggle. I don't know.
Yeah, but they wanted to play with different Rangers in their toy box.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, none of them are. I mean, Kim is like indirectly a part of the original team, but that's as far as we get.
Yeah, we don't get anybody else from the original team but her.
I keep forgetting that too.
I really like her though.
Well, guys, get ready for this too, because like I said, she has a big role in the series, and just pay attention to the shit she accomplishes. It's amazing.
She's grown on me as one of my favorite characters in this completely. I was a little bummed that there wasn't more of her in this art. So
yeah, she takes a little bit of a backseat, especially as we get to these second half of everything here.
Yeah, we had to introduce characters that Mike didn't care about. So that's how Mike felt. But I don't think anything else here. Yeah. So Mike steals the solar action, and the last thing we see is they're arguing with each other and all blaming each other, and then the Praetor is talking to the Solar Ranger in her mind, essentially.
I think her girlfriend also gets killed.
Well,
your girlfriend get killed?
Shot.
Yeah, so Remy was going to shoot Andros because they're all blaming each other, obviously, and she ends up blaming Andros because she's taking the heat here, and she's not guilty, but she's so pissed off. She takes a shot at him. Ari gets in the way, takes the heat, and she becomes comatose, I guess. And the Praetor then takes advantage and tries to manipulate her.
Well, that makes sense. Because I can buy the whole idea of an evil entity being able to take advantage when you're, in a not a good mental, in a good state physically where your body is dying because you take a bullet. All right. And then that brings us to issue 38. Now, this is a cool cover. This is my favorite cover of the bunch, where it looks like the Praetor is playing chess or checkers and they have little pieces on the board.
That would definitely be chess, Mike. But yeah, it's a cool cover.
How has no one made these little tiny figurines yet? Also, Mike, that's supposed to be the fucking Zeo crystal.
Oh, I had no idea what that was on the record. I was like, what's this?
To be fair, if we lived in a fun universe, Mike would know what that crystal is because it's what the fucking third live-action Power Rangers movie would have been about. I say that because Rita literally says she's after the Zeo crystals in the first fucking movie, so I assume the second or third movie we would have saw them.
Yeah. Second movie would have been the Green Ranger, so probably the third movie.
Yeah.
I'm still upset that those movies got... I'm still upset about it. I was at a toy swap today, and they had a Rita Funko Pop from the movie, and I didn't buy it, but I'm like, man, this upsets me.
It's such a sick design, too.
It is. That's a nice Rita.
Why didn't people go see it?
I saw it in theaters when it came out. I loved it.
I went when it came out.
I saw it later, but it still upsets me that it just didn't do good enough to get, the sequel that it deserved. I think they spent too much money was also part of the issue.
Yeah.
These are good at that. So
I don't know. As big as Rangers is, it's like nobody knows what to do with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who gets it.
Well, because it's born from a guy being cheap. Like that's, so, and that's not really a thing anymore. You can't keep stealing footage and maybe taking stuff from other shows and making it work anymore. You have to pay. He didn't like that idea. I think that's partly why it doesn't work. And when you're constantly having to make new models of everything every season because you got to sell new toys.
And when you really think about it, the big resurgence in recent years has just probably been more responsible because not maybe the movie a little bit, but more so like the comics and Shattered Grid, like that really propelled everything back in people's like mind.
110%, yes.
Because then what do we get after that? We got the board games, we got the RPGs, like there's so like even more video games. Like there's been more stuff after that happened.
Yeah, and it led to so
Power
much.
Rangers got this. Power Rangers, it was finally treated the way it was meant to be treated for so many years.
And it does make me happy. I am happy to see that it has revived a lot. I think that definitely is a good thing. So I didn't think about the fact that this this plays such a big part in making Power Rangers mean more.
Huge part. I mean, when Shattered Grid came out, and then JDF himself was like in the commercials, like in this new cool ass outfit, like it sparked a lot of interest in people that had no idea it was even happening, and it drug a lot of people back in. And then you had not only the mobile game, but the other games, like the fighting games that came out. A lot of people like that stuff. Good stuff.
Play those. I have one of the fighting ones I want to play. I need to play the story mode and talk about it.
Yeah, I refunded it because it was too fucking hard. I was like, nah, I can't do this anymore.
I only play fighting games for the story mode. That's it.
Yeah, I used to do that with Tekken, but I don't even do that anymore.
You love Tekken, though.
I still do, man. Like I was more in love with the characters and stories than I was the actual game mechanics.
Tekken inspired one of my favorite anime mangas of all time.
What's that?
Which is
the creator of Bleach loves Tekken.
Oh
yeah.
But all right, so back to Beyond the Grid. So this issue, this is good. Like where you see the Praetor has the Solar Ranger essentially chained up in her mind, and this is where he goes into like his backstory. This is good. This
guy's dropping some bombs here when it comes to the story, and again, like I said earlier, introducing things that are going to be important later. Morphin Masters, you're being introduced to a Morphin Master. I didn't want to say that earlier on because I wanted you to get to the point. The Praetor is practically a fucking god. He knows everything there is to know about the Morphin Grid because he's one of the manipulators and not creators, but one of the discoverers of it, pioneer when it comes to the Morphin Grid.
Were Morphin Masters a thing in any of the shows you guys are aware of?
Yeah. Yes, actually. Where did they first show them? I couldn't tell you which one first showed them.
Okay.
But they were
like knowing what's from the shows and what's created from the comics.
Yeah, it was an idea, I think, that started in a show, and then they just expanded on it in the comics.
It made it make sense, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure it makes more sense in the comics than it does the shows.
Me too. Because there's one thing I learned, you can't exactly trust the show to do a good job with everything.
No, but pay attention to that because we will touch on this as we go.
The whole stuff with him being like how he was a master and had his own ranger, so he's essentially what Zordon is then, right?
In a way, yes. I mean, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than what Zordon was ever doing, at least up until more recent years. The Praetor's duty, I mean, he was a Morphin Master. He volunteered himself to pretty much sever a planet from the Morphin Grid, or not a planet, but a universe from the Morphin Grid, and essentially watch over it until the rest of the Morphin Masters were able to figure out what to do with the Zeo crystal planet, the Shattered Star. And the Praetor grew discontent with what he was seeing and what he was dealing with. He had his rangers to kind of help him out as far as like regulate this dying universe, but he grew, I don't know the word, like discontent and wanted to get rid of it at all, like entirely, best he could. And that's why you see this evil Praetor version of him now.
Okay. It has its cool moments. I mean, the fact, like when they do a page here where you see the good version of him and the evil version of him in the same page, like they do some really cool comparison drawings here. And his whole backstory about how he turned against his rangers because they didn't understand what he was trying to do and they were being hopeful, and their whole thing was just to keep this little side of the universe cut apart because they were scared of that planet of crystals being awful. Like, it's really cool.
Those rangers were doing what rangers have always done historically throughout the history of rangers. Keep hope when there's no hope. Be the last stand of hope, the very last hope there is. That's what they were doing. And the Praetor's like, nah, fuck that. This needs to go. This is a lost cause. Just forget about it all. Let it die. Let's eliminate the Morphin Grid from this place as much as possible. That's why they have the Solarix. The Solarix was meant to absorb all the Morphin energy in the universe and stuff it into that small morpher that she has.
And this was the first good issue in this entire 9-issue run for me.
And that's a good point, because if we would know some of this shit earlier on, I'm sure we would have enjoyed it a lot more.
I would have been more interested had I known where things were going, because at first it feels so throwaway. Like the first half of this, I didn't enjoy any of it, of what we read. Like I was like, bleh, I'll do it for the show because I do it for the show, but I'm not enjoying myself. Mm-hmm. And then this is where it started to all kind of make sense, and I understood what was happening. I started to care more. Like, do they break the stone and then use it? Yeah, the Solar Ranger, I forget her name. She breaks the stone and then gives them each a piece to power their individual morphers, which is the way they drew this page is very cool. And then you see them go into the Solar Rangers, which I like these outfits a lot.
Yeah,
they're warped versions of their own suits.
But they look cool. And
most
importantly, they're all uniform now to each other. Like they're supposed to. I want my Rangers to match.
This is not the last time we see Solar Rangers, by the way.
Okay.
One thing that I think I noticed too, with the very end of this arc, we see we see him pull out a sword. I don't know if it's supposed to be a coincidence or if I might be wrong. I don't know if you recognize it, Rich, or if it's supposed to be something else, but it looks like, I posted it in the chat, it looks like the Dino sword morpher from a later season.
I'm trying to catch it. Oh, okay. I see it. It does kind of look like it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is supposed to be related. I didn't catch that at all. No.
I saw that season. That's from the season whenever Power Rangers made a full comeback. Like that's a season that's on Netflix and things like that. So yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I never would have got that.
I have no idea.
Power Rangers.
Okay. No, I mean, I know. I'm just looking at like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, but all right. I mean, I'm not surprised. You know, this isn't my thing nearly as much as it is for you guys. Like, you guys got me to step into a different place. But I was wondering about that axe when you see the Praetor holding the axe or the sword, and he's just like, because he's upset with what the Rangers did, that they're going to fight against him, so he's getting ready to fight them, and you have a few scenes of them fighting the Praetor's army and just beating the shit out of them.
So I had a kind of a question, I guess, when it comes to this. Like, Ari breaks up the Solar Ring, breaks her own morpher, and hands it off to everybody else. And it's still powerful enough, it's still operational enough to where people can still filter it with their own morpher, and it works. Now, what I'm not getting is, how does she not use it in its full form to just have them morph? Like, I don't fully understand that. And is she get the energy she's getting? I get is coming possibly from the Zeo crystals, the shattered star, and that's how they're all able to morph. They don't really fully explain it, I feel.
They don't completely. I mean, I took it as with it is such a powerful item that it gives them the power from the grid for them to morph.
Well, yeah, but where are they pulling that from? Because she, like, that morpher, the Solar X, is designed to absorb Morphin grid energy. So, it's almost non-existent in the entire universe that they are in, the void. Where it's like most prominent is on the planet they are now, where the Zeo crystals are, which makes a hell of a lot of sense that she could then pull more energy from it. But why break the fucking thing up and give it to everybody else if you're just pulling energy anyway?
It's cooler. I don't know.
Maybe the only sense it makes for me is because Mike was going to steal it, and then she was like, all right, well, let's everybody have our own piece. It'll be harder for the Praetor to then get it. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Fair. That idea makes sense.
I think the other thing too, which I'm also going to assume as well, wasn't she already having like issues with it, like being like making her like too powerful or something? That's why she was like glitching out. But technically, her breaking it also might have fixed that issue as well.
I thought it like she was glitching out because the Solar X was running out of the energy to even use. But maybe you're right. Maybe it just kind of evened it out. But at the same time, like when the Praetor was around, you see the other Rangers like flying around and they're not glitching out, and I'm sure they had their own Solar X, so I don't really know. I have no idea how that shit works.
I mean, I think it's more of a case where the power is so much more divided at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I take it. It's just that everything with them is divided between all of them, so it doesn't affect it as much now. She was just too much power for one person, is why she was glitchy.
You could be right. I always thought there was like not enough power left in the Solar X.
Me too.
But they also say like, oh, the energy never disappears. It's just only can be transferred or stored. So I don't know, whatever. If I was a Power Ranger, I wouldn't be Billy. That's for sure.
I'd be Billy. So stand by that fact. Yes.
I don't know. Mike has to be the brainy one. He has the attention span big enough to play like 3 games in 1 week.
You're not wrong, unfortunately.
Meanwhile, I'm being yelled at home for playing Resident Evil 4 remake for like the 5th fucking time.
And you should be.
It was on sale because Monster Hunter's coming out.
Oh, I thought you already bought it though and played it.
For the PS5. I bought it for the PC where I made a mod where Leon has a tramp stamp and she's wearing a half shirt.
Oh, Joe.
Anyways,
so then the very last end of this, the Praetor is about to kill the pink Solar Ranger, the one that had all the power to begin with. And then that brings us to the last issue, 39. This covers okay. I don't mind this cover. With them all reaching up to the air, but it's more than our normal range. It's 7 Rangers. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So it's a good cover. Yeah. And that's pretty much and then talk about the issue. This is when the Praetor goes gigantic, which I think is cool that the Morphin Master, of course, has the ability to be gigantic. Makes sense.
Do what the hell he wants.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool to see. And then this is when they pull out their Solar Zords. I don't care for these.
Yeah, and when you really think about it, like, there's only a few Rangers on the team that actually have like light capable Zords or Zords that are like ships.
Yeah.
And then because of the solar power, though, all of their normal Zords now are being projected as ships.
I didn't even think about that fact, but that's completely fair.
Yeah, because I don't know. Otherwise, you'd have a stupid fucking ball like running through space. I don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It doesn't make sense if you don't, because they aren't designed for that. So no, I get where you're coming from. It just, I don't know, there's something about all of this that was just kind of like, meh. I mean, it's cool when they morph into the giant Zord to fight the Praetor, and then he just disappears when they shoot him, and
The
that's
big
it.
ass Gundam that just looked like a Gundam to me.
Yeah, it does look like a Gundam. I really like Gundam, by the way. I found out recently too.
Yeah, have you been watching Gundam?
Nothing wrong with that.
I have been Mobile Suit Gundam 79. I watched 24 episodes so far. Pretty damn good, by the way. So for an old ass anime, it's actually pretty good.
I tried to watch like from the like in chronological order, which starts with the like 70s version.
Yep, that's what I'm watching.
I couldn't fucking. That's what you're talking about. So I couldn't fucking do it.
It's hard.
It is difficult, man. Like some of the stuff's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it is hard. I'm a roll.
Oh yeah, there's
I'm
a
a
lot of
roll. Ooh.
that. There's a lot of that I'm like, but it also reminds me of Robotech, and I love Robotech, so that helps.
Yeah, if I get into it, I'm gonna have to like shortly recap some of the old stuff and just get into the more modern shit. That's all. That's it.
But yeah, it does look like Gundam. It so much does, and I was okay with it. I was on board.
Looks like Jehudi from Zone of the Enders.
I was thinking the same thing too, which is essentially just a Gundam. I found out after watching Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm like, fucking A, Zone of the Enders just copied Gundam. I never knew it
Oh shit.
because I hadn't watched Gundam yet.
Yeah, it's like one of his Japanese animes, Mike. That's the joke.
Like one of my Japanese animes.
I love that game as a kid. And I was talking about it with another friend because our government's awful. And I told my husband right in the face, and I go, "Hey, if I did something stupid and went as Otacon, and if I told you to call me Otacon when we first started dating, would you still date me?" He looked at me dead, and I went, "Fuck no, what are you, an idiot?" And I went, "Oh, that's fair."
I'm an otaku.
I am an otaku. Stands for Otaku Convention, Otaku Convention.
God, what a geek. fucking hell.
I do love that game though.
Oh, it's amazing, man. It's one of the best I've ever played for sure.
It is, even if
Nothing-
it has some
nothing like
dumb moments.
Oh, of
Like that
course.
one.
But yeah.
Oh, back to this. So yeah, they get their solar powers. They essentially just they chase away the Praetor after they hit him with that beam, and then they leave the Solar Ranger and her girlfriend, the elf girl or fox lady, whatever the hell she is.
I'm pretty sure that beam fucking kills that Praetor.
Okay, he doesn't run away.
No, I think he's dead. Like
I thought he ran away.
I never hear from him again. Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind then. They kill him.
They
All
actually
right.
kill him more from now. Think about it. Like I said, pay attention to Kimberly's accomplishments. She's part of the team that killed another god, practically.
Yeah, but she wasn't part of the team that killed Clark Kent, though, so it's not the same.
Still, shit's probably even better than that. Kill like a Morphin Master.
I mean,
You really think about it. The Praetor this whole time had the ability to destroy every universe. If he would have just said eat a dick and destroy the Zeo Crystal world, every universe would have been done. Like imagine if Drakon knew about the Shattered Star.
oh yeah, he would have access to all the. Yeah, okay.
So
Fair
imagine
enough.
if he knew about that, done.
Yeah, because he used all the Zeo crystals.
All he had to do is destroy it. Destroy it. Destroy the planet. All universes crumble.
And that's what he wanted anyway, so okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it was what he was shooting for. And that was a straight shot. He just didn't know about it. I don't think he knew about the void at all. All he
No, I
knew
don't
about were where Morphin entered the Morphin grid reached, and you got to think it's harder to get to where they were in the void because that was the Praetors and the Morphin Master's whole plan was to eliminate traffic over towards the Zeo Crystal, and if the Morphin grid is cut off from there, way less chance of anybody ever showing up in the void.
No, that's completely fair. I mean, that's what they were doing. You're 100% right. They wanted to make sure that nobody could find this and destroy all the worlds. It's cool. And even the little scene of then the elf lady becoming a Yellow Ranger, I think is cool too. I'm assuming this will come back at some point, right?
Oh,
Like I said, you're going to see Solar Rangers again, so you will see Ari and Remy again.
Okay.
cool.
I'm fine with that.
And it's nothing like to this extent that we're dealing with Beyond the Grid. It's not like fully focused. You'll see them kind of not in just the background. They'll have their moments, but it's never this focused.
I'm okay with that too.
I'm sure
This
you
was
are.
too much for me. As much as I enjoyed this book, this was too much. And then eventually they go back in the ship and then they're reconnecting back to the grid. And I'm assuming they're all going to lose their memories of this, is what I'm assuming.
I don't
I don't know.
remember if I don't remember. I don't think they do lose it, but we'll see because I honestly do not remember fully.
Okay. And then I just looked at the next issue. I don't look any farther, but the cover is So then we start Necessary Evil. Unfortunately, we have a bunch of stuff to do before then, but that's what the next story arc is of this
Yeah.
run.
I'm saying unfortunately, because from what I remember, it's still good stuff. So
Well, yes, but it's going to take a little bit. We got to get to.
So from the cover of issue 40, should we do White Lightning next?
Well, we're going to do Godzilla next.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we got to do Godzilla. We got to do White Lightning. We got to do a bunch of stuff. But yes,
all easy enough stuff. Yeah.
so and Batman TMT is coming too.
Oh boy.
I had to buy that movie for a different podcast, so I need to actually do it for this show.
Yeah, I got to get a hold of that again because I don't remember where the hell I even watched it back when it came out. But I need to watch it again.
Well, there's a guy in this group that could probably get you a website that has access to it. So
Oh, okay. I'll have to figure out and talk to that guy.
that's not me, by the way. So
Oh, whoops.
the other guy.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I shouldn't have read that far.
I don't want it. There's a reason I don't read what we're not going to talk about next.
Yeah, now I need to read this because now it looks really interesting.
What the hell did you do? What did you do?
He scrolled into the book.
I scrolled. I read. I can speed read. I can speed read as much as I hate to. I can speed read, and I got to what the first couple pages were. It's like, oh no, this is good.
Shit for you already, or what?
No, this is good, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And you're
this
talking
is gonna
about
be a little bit.
because they previewed Necessary Evil, and that's what you're talking about.
No, I just went to the next chapter and I sped read the first couple of pages. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's some good shit in there.
There's some good shit in there.
So I'm excited. I'm also excited for this to be done. Let's go to Shelf Stacker Box for the whole Beyond the Grid. And I'll go first. This is going in the box. Did not enjoy any of this. I was very excited for it. I was let down. I didn't even read it twice. That right there should tell people, like, we plan these things like 2 weeks in advance and stuff, and I never read this thing twice. I didn't want to. I barely read it once. I didn't finish the last issue till to last night. And I'm normally way ahead of stuff like this. I just didn't care. It wasn't fun to me. So it's going in the box. What about you, Joe?
I think I'm gonna stack this. Not so much box it. I say just because whenever I take stack, it's usually a recommendation at least to read it. Where I say box is like, oh, don't worry about it. If you're a very much bigger Power Rangers fan than I probably am, and maybe Rich, and I say that by you've watched every single series to date, this is probably for you because I sure as fuck don't know about half these characters. This is probably some other like huge fans like dream. So I mean, I'll give him that because that's obviously what it is, but not my cup of tea. But at the end of the day, plus Rich kind of blew that this will come back. So at the end of the day, I think you should at least read this for story wise. But definitely stack.
Okay. And Rich.
Kind of on the same wavelength as what Joe was saying. Like it's half the characters I don't really know that much either, or even give a shit about. Let's say that too. But outside of that, as I read, I tried, just because I love the Power Rangers lore as it is. And I do enjoy that they explored some story elements that we've never seen in Power Rangers for the most part that I can remember. Some interesting concepts that we haven't really seen. The solo ranger with no team, a post-apocalyptic kind of setting in a universe, a dying universe. You don't even really see that in other media to begin with. I thought they came up with some pretty cool concepts. And if it wasn't for some of those cool concepts, I would have probably ripped this in half and threw it in a box to go to the garbage. But I think I got to stack this one just because of those concepts.
That's fair. You guys are all welcome to your opinion. And I'm glad that people don't have the same opinion I did or the show would be boring.
Oh, absolutely.
But I was just so unhappy. I can't change it.
I get it though, man. It was a hard read. Even when I first read it, I want to say it was pretty difficult. I feel like it was even harder the second time that I read it. I was struggling so hard to get through Heckle's story. It was bad.
I read 3 of the issues and right after we got done recording pretty quickly, and then I just stopped. Did we ever read 4 and 5?
Yeah, I see why, man. I mean, there's even though again cool concepts, but there's still not. I feel like a lot of cool or interesting subject matter in between all that.
No, and I'm excited to get back to Go-Go, which is what when we go back to our Power Ranger stuff, that will be the next thing of this universe.
Is it Go-Go?
And you can stop. Is it?
Yeah, Go-Go. We're going to read 3 volumes of Go-Go, and then they connect in Necessary Evil.
Okay.
Because there was Go-Go that came out during the time of the Beyond the Grid stuff.
I will say, at least you'll now disconnect from a very, very depressing 10 issues that we just read. We'll revisit smaller instances of very depressing material, but it's not this long, and it's at least with more characters that you give a shit about.
That would be nice. Because it's just some of these characters just don't matter to me.
Yeah, and most of them never will throughout the rest of the series.
So yeah.
So how did you like investing in Magnum Defenders and Tanya's little love story? Because that's pretty much it.
Not at all.
Cool. Glad you enjoyed it.
Not one bit. For the record. All right, I guess we should just go to plugs. If you enjoyed this Power Ranger content, we have a ton of Power Ranger content now. Tons of comics for you to go check out. We've done most of the movies, all but one. Definitely go check out all that. We also have over 750 episodes of this podcast. We do movies, comics, TV shows, video games. Go check out our giant catalog. If you want to support the show, we do a Patreon. Little dog vote in our Patreon poll. You will see a link in the show notes to that. Definitely go support the show. And give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro producer, Helena at Hell Has Free. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. Definitely go check her out. And give a shout out to Bill Tucker at A Gamer Looks at 40. Check out his podcast too. He's still talking Final Fantasy, I bet, even though I don't know when this comes out. So who knows? Maybe he'll be done, but I doubt it. So go check out his show. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, rate and views wherever you podcast. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye, Nara.